Hi, I'm Dave Stewart and I'm the guest in this month's CD-ROM magazine, and you'll be hearing me talking about all sorts of bollocks, and try and sort it out for yourself because I can't. Well, I have no interest at all in technology as such, but I've got a massive interest in what can be achieved through any medium. So, as we're living in 1994, or soon to be 1995, technology plays a massive part, and it's becoming more and more apparent that it's going to be playing a larger and larger role in the creative side of everything, really. Everything to do with art, music, fashion. A while ago I formed a thing called ADC, Art Directors Collective, with a man called Anthony Fawcett. And Anthony used to be John Lennon's personal assistant with John and Yoko when they were doing all of those, sending acorns around the world and doing all that stuff. And he worked with Andy Warhol, and he worked with Salvador Dali. And we do things, joint collaborations with other artists. Just recently I've formed a magazine called Mafia, Music, Art, Fashion, Interactive Alliance. That is going to be launched in America. That is quite similar in a way with CD-ROM, and the actual cover will be all printed on the CD, and then the magazine, it's only small like this, will cover 3 people each issue, and it could be a really known contemporary artist and really sort of underground known musician, and somebody like Anna Sui, you know, clothes designer from New York, and that'll all be on the CD too. I actually sort of originated the idea, and the person I'm partners with owns 3 magazines, one called Bikini, one called Raygun, and one called Her. Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be doing lots of the interviews with people. For instance, the first issue could be like Lou Reed, who I would interview, Anna Sui, who I'd interview, and then somebody else who my partner would interview. Then I'd be taking photographs for the magazine. In fact, just last Friday I did a big photo shoot in here for another magazine called Raygun, and the photographs, it's become like a massive passion of mine over the last 3 or 4 years. At the moment there's a man called Paul Verhoeven who directed Total Recall and RoboCop, and I'm doing the music to his new movie, which is being shot in Vegas. And alongside that there's going to be an interactive CD. I can't really talk about it, I'll get killed, but there's going to be something comes out with that I'm involved with. I wrote a film about 8 years ago along with a friend of mine called TVP, TV Planet, and it was for children. It was all about, it was based actually on Pythagoras' theory of music and colour and the resonance of sound. And it was for children, but it got bought by Handmade Films, which was George Harrison and Dennis O'Brien. And unfortunately Dennis O'Brien didn't understand it, kept wanting to make it into a teen movie, and I kept saying no, it's to do with these little sort of animated figures that are for children. And I think, you know, we're going to start getting that back together again, because Handmade have sold their company, you see. But that's all about a planet in the solar system, well, that is controlled by music or sound. So it's like everything's designed by harmonic structures, and if you know the code you can construct things or deconstruct things, which is perfect for animation. At the moment in England you've just got this influx of bands like Boys to Men, or, you know, whoever they are. They're just like, you know, good looking guys singing these kind of love songs in a very cosmetically beautiful setting. And you go through periods like that, it's kind of a blanding out, and you need things to come in that shake it up. So punk, for instance, came in and shook it up, didn't it? I mean, it's sort of all these sort of super group, dinosaur groups like Fleetwood Mac and all that were going around just playing these stadiums, and then all of a sudden the Sex Pistols came out, and it just sort of wiped the floor with anybody, you know, even though they were just could hardly play, you know. In a way, I think magazines should do things like that too, you know. I think we're in a kind of dinosaur stage with it, personally, at the moment. I mean, I think, you know, it's going so fast that in, you know, 10 years' time, lots of things that people are doing now to do with computer technology and imaging and all that kind of stuff will look really sort of funny, you know, because like, you know how fast it goes in leaps and bounds just in the last 10 years. And sometimes it's quite frustrating because you want to do something and they go, yeah, we can do that, that'll take like, you know, 7 weeks. And you go, what? And that's why, you know, on the edge of video games and virtual reality stuff, and it's just like, looks still a bit kind of, it isn't like being there, you know. I think that it's important that, as well as the sort of leaps and bounds in the technological development, that there are other artists who understand it and are there along. So, because what happens, you get that thing I said with the Japanese where they've got this incredible machine and everybody's sitting down for the demonstration and they press the button that plays Waltzing Matilda. Do you know what I mean? And in the same way with visual arts, you have, alright, you have this incredible computer that, you know, you can do every possible thing you imagine, do with the paint box and everything, but the guy operating it is doing like the blue woman that they used to see on Velvet in everybody's living room. There's a lot of artists who are brilliant, yeah, they don't really understand, and they just look at a sort of whole computer system and go, I'll never be able to work that out, so they stick to doing what they're doing. But the idea of our magazine, or what with my company ADC, is to get those people and say, look, don't be afraid of this, and anyway you can operate with somebody else operating it. But here's a fantastic way to express yourself in a different medium. Because I think you have to bridge that gap, otherwise you end up with a world that's technologically advanced, but barren. You know, barren of ideas, barren of any sort of artistic soul, you know. Well, you know, not very good. It's just like, you know, not very inventive, really. But I mean, I don't think it's to do with, particularly with, I'm sure Peter Gabriel's imagination runs riot, but then when he actually gets told, yeah, that's all right, we'll take a year and a half to do that, or, you know, then it's compromised, right, all the way, so you go, yeah, you can do this, and you can do that. And that's why, I mean, I'm a perfect candidate, in a way, to make an interactive CD-ROM to go with my album. But I didn't, because when I looked at how long it would take for what I wanted to do and what kind of things I was offered that I could do within it, I just thought I'd rather wait.